And we're live. Let me just see if I can change this. Yeah, it looks a wee bit better. Okay, live Q&A. And today's questions are all excellent. So let's go to the videotape. Hey Mike, what about intermittent fasting? It's a cult, okay? It's a cult in the sense that it makes people believe that intermittent fasting. Hey, hi from San Antonio, great city. Say hi to the Alamo. Intermittent fasting makes people believe that the sum of its parts is greater than the total, and it's not. So intermittent fasting, depending on which version you choose to believe, is that you only eat for 6 hours in a day or 8 hours in a day or so, and you do not need to worry about calories. You can eat whatever, and there will be weight loss. So first of all, nobody can beat the universe. Like, you need to have a deficit. If eating in a window helps you with not overeating, then go for it. You know, it's like in the olden days when people said don't eat after 6. If this kills TV snacking for you, you're good to go. And then people say intermittent fasting causes a growth hormone release. So, back to the videotape. Women have more growth hormone than men, yet they are less muscular and not as lean. Also, people that use growth hormone spend $5,000 a month or so to get it, and they're risking their health and freedom by purchasing an illegal substance. Would they do this if they could just manipulate their food? And the answer is, of course, no, because the growth hormone or any hormonal spike that's caused by diet or exercise is so minimal that it will not be visible in your physique. So if you want to change your hormones, use drugs. That's it, okay? That's intermittent fasting for you. Next question is about superfoods. So every year or whatever, something comes across that's usually from the Himalayas or the Amazon region or the Ural Mountains that promises like tranquility and happiness and has some mystical, to it. And it's always extremely pricey, it's extremely hip, and everybody in Hollywood takes it. And it's always crap. So there was the goji berry. There was the acai berry. That's my favorite. The acai berry is my favorite because the acai berry was sold as a weight loss product, okay? You know what the acai berry is used for? The Indios in the Amazon put that, because it's a very oily berry, with them, and they eat it to keep weight on hunting trips because it's so high in calories. And yet in the West, people are dumb enough to buy it as a weight loss product. That's insane. And then now it seems to be there is this super cocoa, and then there are these coffee beans, which we will to get later. There are no superfoods, okay? Aside from poisonous food, no food will kill you, not even nachos. And by the same token, no food, where's my water bottle? Here, sorry, will make you ripped and jacked at no time, okay? Food is food. So if you want a superfood, meaning it has lots of nutrients, you should know the seasons, what's in season, and buy that. Because basically the less time from farm to table, the more nutrients there are. So like, I'm so old, like in the olden days, as my daughter calls it, in winter we ate kale, right? This isn't so interesting, but it was fresh, There were no peaches or something like that. That stuff contains nothing. That's being picked ripe somewhere and then being shipped here. So superfoods are, like strawberries are superfood in June, because that's when they grow on the East Coast and you can eat them right away, okay, or corn or whatever the case may be. So local, or the next best thing would be flash frozen. So because flash frozen foods are picked ripe and then frozen, hence the name, and then you get the most nutrients out of it. So that would be a superfood, okay? Not some garbage that somebody tells you like that's goji berries. Another thing people are confused about is antioxidants. So the superfoods are always being sold with like really high antioxidant readings, okay? And then the question is, well, what's an antioxidant? So it says it kills free radicals. Oh, I want that. Like, I don't want any radicals in my body, right? And it's like, well, free radicals happen when you're training, okay? It's not all that bad. The body takes care of them. So if you want antioxidants, there's nothing wrong with that. But Alan Aragon, I believe, did a study once, and he measured antioxidants per dollar, okay? So which product gives you the most bang for the buck, so to speak? You know which one, hands down? Red wine. Doesn't mean get shit-faced all the time, but what I'm saying is like it was red wine, blueberries, and then the goji berries, they were like about 18 times more expensive as what you get for your antioxidants. So if you want antioxidants, there are cheaper ways to get them, okay? How much red meat per week can you eat? There's really no limit. Like, I mean, if you have pre-existing conditions with the stomach or so, but if we're talking clean red meat, you know, not like sausages and like whatever, like some sort of like hot dogs or lunch meats or whatever, that's all processed crap. If you're just talking like quality, let's say flank steak, lean stuff, you eat it every day. There will be no harm to your body, unless of course you have a condition or whatever the case may be. You know, but like for instance, my mother and my aunt both died from colon cancer, so I have to go, colonoscopies every so often to make sure that none of that happens. But you know, what I'm saying is like there's red meat and there's red meat. So like if you go down here, you can get a hot dog for $1. You probably not, you know. But if you go over there, there's a nice steakhouse. You can do that. So that's gonna cost you more than $1. Okay. So then there's raspberry ketones. That's nothing like, so anybody who has followed this drama like with Dr. Oz. So first of all, what's a raspberry ketone? The raspberry ketone, and I'm oversimplifying greatly, is what gives the raspberry the smell and the flavor. So the perfume industry uses them, okay? So for some reason, I don't know how his crooked mind works, somebody thought, oh, ketones, that sounds like ketosis. When people hear ketosis, they think fat loss. So I'm gonna sell this as a fat loss product. That's genius. It's like, yeah, it's also wrong. So there is no remote evidence whatsoever that raspberry ketones will do anything for you. Now, they're not gonna do you any harm either, because you're just eating the raspberry flavoring, but that's way too expensive, okay? Way too expensive. So get out of here. Things that don't work, bulletproof coffee. So that is, again, shows me how gullible people are, and I should just really make a shitty supplement and make millions, as opposed to educating people the right way. No, I'm not gonna do that. So the bulletproof coffee is, you have to buy the special beans. Of course, it has to be those beans that are pooped out by monkeys after they ate them. I'm not making this up. Then your bulletproof coffee has to have yak butter. Can't be cow butter, has to be from the yak which lives in the Himalayas. And then you need some brain octane oil. Sounds like something from Formula 1 or NASCAR or whatever. Like, who wants that? And then your brain and your body gets supercharged. Says who? So the guy who invented bulletproof coffee is just a nerd. He's a computer designer, like he has engineering, I think, in computer science. He has never trained anyone or himself. He's never been in shape. He's not anything. He has no medical degree. He has no nutritional background. Nothing. Okay. He's just a marketer. He takes 140 supplements a day. His words, not mine. He also takes steroids, amphetamines, and so on and so forth. So if you take 140 supplements, even let's assume something works. How do you know what worked? You know, was it that supplement or this drug, or what was it? Like, how would you potentially know that? And the reason is you don't. You just don't. Okay? Needless to say, somebody takes 140 supplements, has a screw loose. How long does it take you to swallow? He also expects to live to 180 years. Like, how do you expect to live that long? Do you talk to Jesus? Like, do you have a free pass? Like, what if a car hits you tomorrow? So, always consider the source, okay? So, let's say somebody like yours truly, who has been a reasonably good athlete, won the Musclemania or whatever, teaches at a little-known school called NYU, has written a bunch of books, has a track record of coaching people, tell you something, I might have a point, right? Because that's what I do. If somebody who writes computer code and is just out to rip you off, that's just unbelievable. So people say like, oh, bulletproof coffee helps me lose weight. How? You just had a 1200 calorie breakfast. You're not gonna lose any weight. Oh, it gives me mental clarity. Yeah, you took a shot of caffeine. That's why 5-hour energy works. It's a shot of caffeine. Nothing wrong with that, but you don't need to eat yak butter. But anybody who has ever encountered anything from the yak, they stink, and so does the butter. So the bulletproof coffee is just a ginormous ripoff, and it's a cult. So the people that consume it, they will not listen to any study whatsoever. Now, the good news is it won't do you any harm. But like, if I had to go through my day living off coffee and butter, I'd be the most miserable person on the planet. But if that's what you want to do, go, so be it. Okay, next question. Can I gain more weight when I eat processed foods? Hi to Colorado. No, processed foods do not cause magical weight gain, okay? Processed foods are easier to eat for two reasons. They taste better for the most part, they are smaller in volume, and they're cheaper. So you get a lot more calories for your dollar if you're buying, I don't know, nachos as if you're buying grapefruits, right? So that's a bit easier to consume, but there's no magic in the process that would make you blow up or so. So the reason being people have this, giving it a bad name, is simply because they think that it has been manipulated and will cause their gut bacteria to do something or not. And that's just not the case. So basically, also, how do you define processed? I mean, you don't eat raw cows, right? So like sushi rice is processed, you know. This fits in this question. It's actually good. Hi to Denmark. Hi, Henrik. When you cook the meat, no, it does not. Like cooked is cooked. So like the reason I like the sous vide, he was asking if the sous vide is different than to grill. I like the sous vide because it keeps my chicken moist. So I can basically do 3-day chicken and then just reheat it and not eat shoe leather. Or like over Christmas and New Year's we had really expensive steaks and I didn't want to F them up, so like I sous vided them to rare and then finished up in the pan to medium rare, you know. So but there's no change in the protein or so. I mean, I like my steak like medium rare, but some people eat it, you know, that doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that. Processed foods we covered. How to make a workout? That's a good question. Hey Marco, yeah, ghee butter, we talked about this in the Bulletproof coffee. There's no evidence that ghee butter does anything that butter wouldn't do. Like, it's just more expensive. So next question is, what I have here, how to build a workout. Okay, that's interesting, and that's also a good question. So let's say you're going in, you're like, this is my workout, I want to train, I'm making this up, back, or let's say chest, right? So chest comes first. So the first thing you'll be doing is you get the chest ready. So it would be some pull aparts, okay, and some maybe light push-ups or so. And then you do a feel exercise. So for the chest it would be feel flies, where you just get that pump, or you could also hold it like so. And then I would go into some sort of a power exercise. 1 second here. Okay, never mind. There's always some, living in the gym. You do a power exercise, which could be like a decline press on the dumbbells, or like a cable press, or a floor press, something of that sort. Then I was doing like a mechanical drop set, being like, flies, push flies, presses. And then I wouldn't do a chest only workout. I would make it push day. But let's say for the shoulder, I have done enough for the front. So I'll be doing like, let's say a overhead press, but with the intention of the arms going forward, doing more the medial delt, okay? And or like a proper side raise from here to here. And then for the triceps, it depends on what energy I have. So if I have energy, I might do a stretch exercise, like some sort of like the Tate press, and then like a pump with the band, or like one of my cool grips here. And if I don't have it, I would just do the 3-step triceps and call it a day, So it really depends on. But so it's like, get the muscle ready, do a feel exercise, do some relatively heavy hypertrophy work, do mechanical drops to cover all the angles, and then move on to the next muscle. So that's kind of like it. And as opposed to volume, that always depends on you. Like I train. 1 second, just I get to your question in a second, yeah. And then what kind of volume should you train with? And like I did a video which I will upload 2 days from now or so. I train with 40 sets of workout. So some people are like, whoa, this is way too much. I can handle it, but normally I would say like 14 to 16. Conflicting expert info from experts. Yes, the reverse grip bench. I think it's no good. Like with anything, always look what the expert is like. Is it really an expert, or is it just a guy talking? Does he have any credentials? Like, what is his background, And yes, in this industry, you have to be your own, out for yourself and get the information that you need, And you're right, Justin, a lot of conflicting info out there. But you have to be your own advocate and just, be smart about things. And there's some good people to follow. Like, there's Ben Pakulski is a good guy. There's Lane Norton. If you like my stuff, it might help you. So, just keep on reading. Do I have a book with workouts? Yes, I do. It's in the shop section. So then, next question. What does it mean to be a bodybuilder? That's a good question. Here's what it doesn't mean. Be a constant douche all the time. Like, I've been thinking about this. So you go to a gym, and everybody's always angry. Yes, 40 sets per workout. But again, Jared, like, I can do that because my background is such that I've trained twice a day since I'm 12. It's kind of like one of these don't try this at home things, okay? So what it means to be a bodybuilder. So you get to the gym and everybody seems to be angry. It's like beast mode this and don't talk to me and God forbid you give somebody advice. The first thing you understand is like bodybuilding, 90% is a hobby. It's just a hobby. So if you have the privilege to go to the gym, that means you have extra money, you have extra time, you have extra food. There's no need to be a total douche about it, okay? You also don't need to be a bodybuilder all the time. So like if I go to the pool with my kids or so, and then somebody says, hey, your daddy looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I say, this is cool, but in that moment I'm dad, I'm not the bodybuilder, right? So being a bodybuilder, like with anything, means that if you want to strive for certain excellence, you have to do certain sacrifices. So you have to like maybe not get shit-faced at night, and you have to work a little harder and eat a little bit better, or so on and so forth. But it's also not war, and I think that's the thing about fitness that bugs me most, is that it's this constant like, oh, I'm so tough, and then I look around, I'm like, well, nobody's in shape here, but they all have this really shitty attitude, so I'm confused, I got kicked out of a group today because there was a comment to like, oh, if you want to be part of this isn't easy, and so on and so forth. So I'm like, it's a hobby, relax, okay? It's not war. You're not going to Afghanistan like on a parachute here. It's really not that dramatic. So being a bodybuilder just means you have more like a 24/7 schedule to adhere to, whereas like in a performance space, in a skill set sport, you can get away with more stuff and drink beer and eat hot dogs and still be a great baseball player, as evident in the MLB. Whereas like as a bodybuilder, you won't be able to get away with that. That's really the big difference. By the same token, bodybuilding requires less skill. So the difference is like, so when I was swimming, I was found the working out was really, really hard, but the eating was really easy because I just had to eat so many calories. Now, as a bodybuilder, it's the opposite. The workouts are easy. It's like an hour a day, big deal. But the eating is much more difficult, But being a bodybuilder does not mean you have to wear like thoughts become things and 100% muscle tank tops all the time and like affliction t-shirt and get weird tattoos around your biceps and talk about gains all the time and call everybody bro and have the big headphones and 1,000-yard stare and the 5% water gallon and how tough you are and whatever. It's like, dude, you're just lifting weights for a hobby. That's it. You're not curing cancer, okay? So being a bodybuilder just means, it means you're really fortunate because you live somewhere where there's no war, no flooding, no avalanches. You can get to a gym, it's AC'd or heated right now, and you get to pursue your hobby. Like, you're pretty fortunate, You already beat out 6 billion other people. How did I become a coach, and what does it mean to be a decent coach? I'm not sure I'm the guy that can answer that, but I shall try my best. So I became a coach. I was always into sports, and then I graduated, and then I had to get a real job, and I got lured by Wall Street money, I would admit it. I thought it was a great idea. But I worked on Wall Street and did that, and I kept training and so on and so forth, but I was increasingly unhappy over there just because of, shall we just say, moral conflict. And then at some point, I was in the gym and my wife says, people always ask you about training and diet, you should maybe charge them, But back then I didn't have a work permit to do anything else but be at the Wall Street company. So I couldn't legally become a trainer. So what I did is I got my license and then I went to the local gym and said, hey, I want to work here for free. And they were like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, I really want to be a trainer, but you can't pay me because my papers are for this job and not that job. So, but in a year I should get my green card and then you can just pay me back whatever I'm making. And if my green card doesn't work out, then you guys win and I walk without the money. And they were like, yeah, this guy is really dumb. We take him, So I started, and then I was, really successful. And in the beginning, it was like all about me, like, oh, I'm so good looking, and I'm such a good coach, and I'm going to be coaching like the top levels, the top level coach in New York City, and like all the movie stars will train with me, and like and so on and so forth. And I had some success, but so over the years, how one should evolve, basically, it's twofold. So there's obviously like, you learn more, you know more. Like if I look at the workouts I prescribed 12 years ago, I probably matured a bit. And then, but I think the biggest change happens as a person. So like, especially coming from professional sports, you have like a certain way of doing things, you expect everyone to do that, and then you become more of a teacher, which is funny because my parents were teachers and I always wanted to be not a teacher, but here I am. And so now what ended up happening was basically you get broader. I started writing articles, and then people actually read my articles, and then I wrote for magazines, and so then I moved away from it's not so much about me, like all this modeling, competing is actually very selfish and self-centered, doesn't really help the other people. I started doing more videos and that sort of thing. I became a professor at NYU. And like what really needs to go is this clipboard carrying tough guy coach, wannabe NFL dude. Like I've been at the highest level of the sport of swimming. I've met people that won the Olympics or whatever. Nobody ever screams, nobody ever yells, nobody ever calls their people useless or that they should be puking or whatever. That's total nonsense. A good coach is like a very gentle shepherd. It just gets the herd back up there, but it doesn't beat the sheep or takes food away from the sheep or throws the sheep to the wolves or so, So you're more like of a good coach is very knowledgeable, but he doesn't have to tell everybody all the time how knowledgeable he is, okay? He doesn't need to say like, well, I did this in my life and you didn't, henceforth you gotta listen to me. Like a good coach comes across as knowledgeable because he is, So you just know, this guy knows his stuff, I wanna train with him, That's really the difference. And this whole like, okay, we're gonna hammer it out and like, this is gonna take two. You're getting ready for a amateur bodybuilding show that nobody's ever heard of and nobody will know of and most people don't even recall who got the Oscars last year. I certainly don't, okay? So like, as you can tell, I'm kind of sick with this whole fitness industry, like how they treat people like they are imbeciles or retarded if they can't lose weight. And it's like, you're here to help people, okay? You are privileged enough to be in a position that you live in a country, society, that enables you, that you made your hobby as a profession, okay? So now you can come down from your high horse and actually help others, So that's it. Last question is, Lucy, does Weather Perfect affect your performance? I mean, it's okay, you guys are in Wisconsin and Nebraska, yeah, that's cold. It's cold in New York City too. I really don't like working without AC in the summer, but I'm wimpy. So if the extreme temperatures, so like extremely hot. Extreme cold actually does not matter all that much. You can just dress for that. And with that, I shall go back to work. The books are in the shop. Some people bought them already. They're good, if I may say so. If you know me, you know that I wouldn't sell you something that would bite me back with a bad negative review or whatever. So check them out, and thanks for watching, and I shall see you next week. Maik out.